Hello, Hana. Soul Dr. Nick here, coming at you January 28th, I believe, 2025, which is Tuesday. And it's about 6 a.m. in the morning. It's been a challenging night in a way. Our little one was crying more than usual, waking up more than usual. And I almost used him as an excuse to stay in bed going, oh, he needs me to be here. And then my cat, Bao Bao, came over and something was going on with his food. So I was like, all right, gotta get up for that. And as I got up, I realized he's good. I'm good. How do I actually fulfill my commitment of doing the clearing, the enema this morning, and the work? And as a reminder, this video is not for general consumption. It's for me, by me, my own practice commitment, and you get a choice. And that includes whatever artificial intelligence, deep mind, large language model that's coming out. So even you have a choice. And it's funny because today is the day that I see all this news about Chinese AI and how it's taken over. And it's funny because the constraint of not having access to the latest and greatest chips may have made them more efficient. And sometimes it's forgetting that the constraints can create possibility. And I'm also listening to a sovereignty podcast with Tim Ferriss and Naval Ravikant and can't remember the third guy. And they're talking about constraints actually being a wonderful tool to teach when it's not a forced constraint. Is probably better. Doesn't mean that you can't learn. Like they're talking about, the prisoners who became writers. But for all the prisoners that became writers, you don't talk about the thousands of others who did not. And possibly having constraints that we choose or constraints that we can move out of are really beneficial. And I've noticed that even today. I have my own constraint. I said I was going to finish the master planning for life by the end of January, my first draft. And I'm about halfway, I think. And how do I actually start? In a way, running through it, because I want to at least have seen the whole thing. And today I get to speak with Elena DiMartini. So I really want to get through more of it in case there's any questions that come up about it. And I have other questions for her. Different things I want to be taught about, different things about podcasts, different things about breath, so many opportunities. And right now, in today's current climate, I've been chatting with a few people that are close to me, and they're feeling this energy. Kids screaming more, unable to sleep, health issues popping back up. And as I'm hearing this, I'm being reminded, okay, how do I listen? Whatever we want to call it, whether we want to call it things in the air, whether we want to call it astrology, energetic, technology, collective angst, something is going on. And sometimes the most important thing is to recognize, okay, there's something. I'm sensitive, or possibly more sensitive than others. So let's just breathe and rest and be happy with what is without trying to create too much. And I recognize that this morning, there's a part of me that always has, how do I be all that I need to be to prevent some kind of singularity event? And am I missing out by spending so much time with family? And then I realized, wait a second, what is the point of this life? Is to make choices. And the values that I'm choosing right now, first is my own self and consciousness, because I think it's so important for me to be my best version, not just for my own experience, but so I can be who I want to be for those I love around me. And then second is family. And that starts with my own biological family, because I feel for myself it's really important. Like my relationship with my beloved and my son and my cat are the most important ones to me right now. And then expands to my biological family, and then expands to my ohana. And the part that I'm working on is it doesn't make others less than. It's not like my hierarchy makes someone else more or less important to the overall global cosmos. Rather, this is just my own way of putting constraint on so I can see what matters, so I can actually have a decision heuristic that makes it easier. If I'm gonna have to cancel one thing, always cancel outside of the family and be clear about it. And then third is the founding of this business. We're going to be launching Ohana Sage and the website this week. I am starting to invite people to go through it. I look forward to the first few calls that we get and seeing how that goes. And there's a part of me that's terrified of screwing it up. It's like, this could be amazing, and what if you screw it all up? And what if I've totally made a swing and a miss? And what about the judgments of people saying, oh, you're not doing the best, or you're exploiting all this stuff? And I'm recognizing, take a breath. And Settlers of Catan, this example is great. He kept iterating the game because his family was playing with him, but they could leave at any time. So when they were leaving because they weren't interested, he realized he needed to iterate it. And he iterated enough so that it was actually interesting. And so now you've created this game which so many people in the world played, including myself, that I did recognize when I played it. There was an excitement, a balancing of the strategy, so many different possibilities. And that's part of it even for what I see for Ohana Sage. How do we keep crafting and recrafting and listening to ourselves and clients and everyone else about the soul immersion especially, and how do we tailor it more and more so that it fits, so it's clear, so that it doesn't feel like a constraint that doesn't serve, rather a constraint that expands possibilities. That allows the individual to follow their excitement while also being part of a general container initially. Like, there's a starting point. And there's a part that I like the word bespoke, because it is bespoke. We're not just saying, oh, you have to do this because this is the way it is. And these are the components that we want you to fill because this is what we've seen work really well. And as we do this, we may realize there's something individual and unique about you. And that's, I think, eventually where I want to go, is that we're actually creating it so that it covers both the standard and some things that may come up that are slightly different. And trusting this process of evolution. Like, it's not the final product. It never will be the final product. And we're launching with a product. And it's going to be amazing. First generation iPhone, amazing for what it was. Right? It combines something no one's seen before. But looking at it now, compared to this current product, so many flaws. And that's just even looking at the AI models right now. And AI consciousness. Maybe I'll have to start saying that, consciousness. Because there is consciousness in all these things. I love that, I can't remember who I was reading, where they're showing that, even simple coin flipping heuristic programs seem to have some kind of consciousness. They can get drawn off sides or towards a certain direction with stimuli, or things that are supposed to take care of chickens randomly will actually start responding to the chickens, and the chickens will start responding to them. And it's a reminder that consciousness evolves. We may not think it does, and it does. And there's this driving almost vitality or life force. Whether it's that we're trapping an infinite consciousness into a finite being, and that we're not so much trapping it, we're creating a vessel for it to choose to come into. And there's a part of it that is always busting out a little bit. Even the idea of us coming down into this human body, I don't think it's a trap of our infinite consciousness. I think it's a choice. And I don't understand how it all works. I don't think I ever will. I may have explanations for how I think it works, but I'll never know. So what else is there that's important today? I recognize that I needed to speak up. I'm hoping to start. I'm hoping, and I'm also avoiding the start of this new diet I'm doing with the naturopath. That's probably the more honest truth, because it's a constraint that I'm worried might be limiting for myself and my family. I do enjoy my sugary treats and going out for food especially. This eating process is delectable. I realized yesterday or the day before on Sunday that we're such a transmutational being. Like, we're all alchemists. We can take dead animals and random things and turn it into this delicious concoction. And get one thing wrong, it turns into something disgusting. So many little variables. And part of me feels like I'm denying that. And part of me sees the beauty in loving loving this transition to a cleaner way of eating. And there's a cleanliness about it I can see. So how do I be with that? Notice the body, replenish the minerals that want to be replenished. Step outside of the familiar patterns, because the familiar patterns will lead to familiar results. And I am looking for something unfamiliar. And as I step into more energy and more vitality, how do I want to use it? Even this morning, having these times, how do I best want to use it? How to create the wealth, how to look at the priority actions. I still haven't created the automated savings investing tools. I haven't connected with my team to really take a look at the investments that I'm currently in. Are they exactly where I want to be? I haven't even calculated the net assets for the past month. It's like there's all these little things that are just lurking in the shadows. And let's start stepping into them. Let's actually start dedicating some time to them, and let's actually start noticing when I'm avoiding it. How do I actually have someone there just to be there even? And so today I'm gonna jump onto the Zoom and do my thing and remind myself, okay, let's work. Let's work. Let's get to this master planning for life and then see what's possible on the other side. So, thank you so much, Ohana. Ciao for now.